Did you know Deku and Shigaraki might actually be cousins? Or that Midnight was supposed to be the teacher of Class 1A instead of Eraserhead? Here are 34 secrets you didn't know about My Hero Academia. The author of My Hero Academia, Kohei Horikoshi, published a one-shot called My Hero in 2008, which served as a jumping-off point for the full manga series. It follows a sickly salaryman named Jack Midoriya, who sells hero items but dreams of becoming a real hero himself. It's safe to say that Midoriya's character has changed a lot in the new series. Before creating My Hero Academia, Horikoshi wrote a series called Omagadoki Zoo. Although the manga didn't last long, he repurposed a few of its characters for My Hero Academia. These pro-heroes include Gang Orca, Hawks, Uwabami, and several others. Bakugo is well known for his quick temper, his arrogance, and his tendency to be rude to the point of cruelty. However, what's less known is that Horikoshi initially had a completely different idea for his character. He was originally meant to be a nice, well-meaning guy who unintentionally said offensive things without realizing it. Horikoshi eventually scrapped that idea because he thought it would be too boring and created the Bakugo we know today. As you might guess, for someone who is content to plop down in the middle of his own classroom in a sleeping bag, Aizawa isn't particularly concerned with owning nice possessions. In fact, his room is as bare as he can make it. While this has likely changed at least a little since he began caring for Eri, he probably still maintains a somewhat minimalist lifestyle. During an interview, My Hero Academia's editor Yoritomi revealed that Hawks' tragic backstory was partially inspired by the childhood of Argentine football player Lionel Messi. Messi suffered from growth hormone deficiency in his childhood, and his father couldn't afford the treatment. Barcelona agreed to cover the medical expenses in exchange for Messi moving to Spain and committing to football. He shared this story with Horikoshi during the 2018 World Cup, and shortly after, Hawks' story was created. You may not have noticed, but Kyoka Jiro's hair has an intentional quirk-related design. The highlights in her hair resemble ECG waves, which are electrical waves that indicate heart rhythm. This design is fitting since her quirk, Earphone Jack, allows her to amplify her heartbeat and use it offensively. Speaking of Jiro, Horikoshi once revealed that the first quirk he came up with was Jiro's Earphone Jack. In fact, he came up with it even before he started planning My Hero Academia. As for Horikoshi's favorite quirk, you might expect it to be something flashy like One for All, but it's actually Hanta Sero's quirk, Tape. When Horikoshi was first designing Asui and Hagakure, he intended for them to be boys. However, after reviewing the roster of Class 1A, he noticed a significant imbalance with only 4 girls and 16 boys. As a result, he decided to change their genders in the end. Tomura Shigaraki is heavily inspired by the protagonist of Horikoshi's first one-shot manga, Tenko. Both characters share the name Tenko, as Shigaraki's true name is also Tenko. Additionally, they both have the ability to disintegrate objects with their hands and accidentally destroyed their loved ones, leading them to become villainous as a result. Yuga Aoyama is one of the most eccentric students of Class 1A, and neither his classmates nor viewers fully understand him. Interestingly, even his creator doesn't grasp what makes Aoyama tick. Horikoshi has stated that he has no idea about Aoyama's motivations, but that doesn't matter because he's fun to draw. There's more to the My Hero Academia universe than just the anime and the manga. Thanks to the series' immense popularity, there have been multiple spin-offs. The biggest example of this is probably My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which takes place several years before the start of the main series. It's worth reading even if you're not interested in its protagonists, because it also offers a ton of interesting backstories about pro-heroes like Eraserhead. Another spin-off is MHA Smash, a gag manga that focuses on the everyday lives of the characters. There's also a series of light novels called My Hero Academia School Briefs, which consists of short stories about the characters. Uraraka's zero gravity is a defining feature of her character. However, in her initial designs, she was completely different. She was meant to have Mount Lady's quirk, Gigantification, along with her hero name and real name, Yu Takayama. Eventually, that identity was given to the current Mount Lady, and Uraraka became the character we love today. Throughout the series, we've heard the name UA School countless times, but have you ever wondered what these 2 letters actually stand for? When written in kanji, UA doesn't have a specific meaning. However, when you invert it, you get AU, which means hero in Japanese. So the letters actually don't mean anything in English. It's just a clever Japanese pun for the word hero. Horikoshi revealed that he made Gentle Criminal an aspiring internet celebrity because he loves YouTubers and that he watches YouTube every day. It's pretty cool to see such a talented author show appreciation for us YouTubers. Midnight was originally intended to be Class 1A's homeroom teacher. Although this idea was ultimately scrapped, she still has a canon connection with the class. In MHA Vigilantes, series, we discover that she was the one who encouraged Eraserhead to pursue a career in teaching in the first place. Midnight isn't the only one who was initially supposed to be a teacher. During the planning stage of the manga, Endeavor was also meant to be a teacher at UA. This idea was ultimately scrapped because having the number 1 and number 2 heroes on their side would make it impossible for the students to ever lose against the villains. Like many other manga creators, Horikoshi is a huge fan of Dragon Ball. As a child, he practiced drawing various anime characters, but he especially enjoyed sketching Dragon Ball characters. His enthusiasm for the series continued to influence his work when he created My Hero Academia, as he once mentioned that All Might is based partially on Goku, and it's probably thanks to Goku that All Might's initial designs were changed. You see, All Might was supposed to be an older, more experienced figure with a lesser role in the story. He was simply a veteran hero who would encourage Deku to become a hero even if he didn't have a quirk. However, Horikoshi's editors considered these early designs to be lame, prompting him to make All Might more imposing and slightly younger looking. Despite being one of the most troublesome villains, Dabi is actually quite weak outside of his powerful quirk. This is evident in his tendency to experience motion sickness, which he demonstrates when he yells at Spinner to drive more carefully. But why is Spinner such a reckless driver anyway? It's not because he wants to make Dabi throw up. Apparently it's because he learned to drive by playing Grand Theft Auto. The number 10 hero, Ryukyu, is from Okinawa, a Japanese island with a subtropical climate. Although Horikoshi hasn't confirmed if her birthplace was chosen with her hero name in mind, there's a clear connection. Okinawa is one of the Ryukyu Islands and home to an indigenous population known as the Ryukyuan people. Whether she is meant to be Ryukyuan or not is unknown, but it wouldn't be surprising if she were. While pretty much every scene involving Deku's family makes it look like there's no dad involved, he actually does have a father. His name is Hisashi, which references the Japanese phrase Hisashiburi, which means long time no see, hinting at his absence in the series. We also know that Deku's father possesses a fire-based quirk and is working abroad, which explains why he hasn't appeared in the story. Horikoshi once stated that Deku's father would eventually make an appearance. However, the manga recently ended without him showing up, so I guess this will remain a mystery forever, unless there will be MHA Shippuden in the future. Another thing that will remain a mystery is Deku's potential relation with Shigaraki. You see, Deku and Shigaraki are similar in many ways, such as being outcasts during their childhood and their strong admiration for heroes. But what if I told you they might actually be cousins? In the first episode of My Hero Academia, we got to see a younger and skinnier version of Inko Midoriya, and when All Might meets Inko later in the series, he immediately says that she reminds him of his master somehow. However, by that time, she has gained weight and looks different enough to not make All Might suspicious. And when you compare them side by side, Inko and her younger version does look quite a bit like Nana Shimura. It gets even more intriguing when you realize that Inko's quirk is very similar to Nana's quirk, with Inko being able to float objects and Nana being able to float herself. The author of Naruto, Masashi Kishimoto, is a good friend of Horikoshi, and they've done an official crossover art together. Kishimoto even released a drawing of Naruto cheering on Deku, essentially passing the torch to the next generation of creators. The author of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gege Akutami, is also a personal friend of Horikoshi. The two creators have done a lot together, from helping each other get through watching Evangelion to creating crossover art. And with My Hero Academia's manga having officially ended, Akutami recently commented that without My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen would never have started. Nightaye's intense fascination with All Might is well known, but the specifics might not be as clear. He doesn't just admire his former boss, he studies him extensively. In fact, he owns multiple books about All Might, including several copies of the same titles. Deku's Japanese voice actress for when he was a child, Akeno Watanabe, also voices Midnight and Kyoka Jiro's mother Mika. All Might isn't the only character in My Hero Academia to suffer a life-altering injury. It might not be obvious, especially since he's always moving at top speed, but Ectoplasm actually lost both of his legs while fighting villains. However, this didn't stop him from doing his hero work and used prosthetic legs to get around. Almost everyone in My Hero Academia has a name that somehow relates to their quirk or their role in the series. In some cases, this results in names that don't actually exist in the real world. Bakugo isn't a real name no matter what kanji is used, but Horikoshi chose it anyway because it translates to something like Explosion Master. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more My Hero Academia content. Click on this video to see 48 secrets you didn't know about the Hashira.